everybody. Welcome back to the High Roller Sports Betting Podcast with Coach and T here. Today we're going to talk a little NFL football. NFL for me is really fun. I really enjoy having money on the line on Sundays and watching teams play and really analyzing the games. And, you know, it just makes, to me, it makes watching an NFL game, that experience, just that much more pleasurable. And I think it can be very profitable to you as well. And what T and I are going to talk about today is really some of the preseason numbers that we see of teams that are going to win the division or what their odds are to win the division, and some overall over and under numbers for their win totals as well. I think there is some value out there that you can find, but once again, these are areas where you really want to shop lines, don't you, T?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you really want to check your casinos out, see which ones are giving you the best lines possible so that you can maximize your profits on this, because it is an area where you will see a lot of difference from casino. Well, you won't see a big difference, but you will find some difference from casino to casino. And a little bit about how I break things down. I do my own power rankings. I do each team, and what I really take into consideration, I think some of the big factors. Number one, quarterback. Quarterback in the NFL is a lot. You're just not going to win ball games in the NFL if you don't have a quarterback that can flat out play. Another thing I take into considerations are the offensive and defensive line. Well, I take overall talent into consideration. In today's game, I really feel it's, do you have a quarterback? Can you protect the quarterback? Can you get after the quarterback? And I think everything else falls into play. Coaching staffs and their continuity with the front office, I think, comes into play as well. But I've seen great quarterbacks. You know, Tom Brady throughout the years has had good talent at his pass catching spots. But, you know, it was James White who set Super Bowl records when they played in the Super Bowl and came back on Atlanta. So I've seen, good NFL players become great NFL players, especially when they got the right play caller and the right coach. D, a little breakdown on how you break things down. Just kind of hit the high points.
So I do it a little bit differently. Some of the things that I really take into consideration, I agree with the quarterback, O-line, D-line being very important in the NFL. One of the things that you always hear is you can't handicap turnovers, and while that's true, to me, because so many games in the NFL are decided by one score or around one score,
Yep.
If you turn the ball over and you have players who are more likely to turn the ball over,
Yep.
that's something I take into account. Another one, penalties. And a lot of that goes back to like coaching staff and discipline
Yep.
and stuff like that. But if you're a highly penalized offense, penalties just kill drives.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's tough to put up those points if every time you go on a drive, all of a sudden there's a hold, 10-yard penalty. Now you're 1st and 20 instead of 1st and 10 or 2nd and 6 or 7 if you run the ball. But then skill position I think is important. But I think, to your point, the quarterback can really make the wide receiver group.
Yeah.
The O-line can really help with all that as well, because if you give a quarterback time, a lot of these guys are talented. I mean, and we'll get into it, I mean, Justin Fields in Chicago is talented, but he's always running for his life.
Yeah.
That leads to him having more interceptions than touchdowns.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And we'll get into each one of those areas specific. Well, get into more detail as we go along with this podcast. On to the NFC North. Now, once again, full disclosure, I am one of those guys Aaron Rodgers makes fun of. I am an NFL owner. I own part of the Packers. I got the stock. I got the piece of paper that I paid the money for.
Keeps Green Bay having a football team.
Exactly.
All these people that rip the Packers for a stock. So
now it adds extra money.
Packers have $500, $500 million in their rainy day fund.
Yeah, exactly. The Packers can be the Packers because the Packers are financially sound. And that gives them just a huge advantage over a lot of teams in the NFL. But beyond all that,
Yeah.
just looking at how I go about and try and just look at things when it comes to the NFL. In my humble opinion, the Packers, when healthy, have a top 5 offensive line.
Arguably
They
the
have
best.
a top 5 quarterback.
Arguably the
Their
best.
defensive line now, in my humble opinion, is top 5.
Yeah.
And their overall talent puts them in the top 5 to top 10. This is a team that can compete for the Super Bowl. And shocker here, folks, going out on a limb, I'm taking the Packers. It's kind of a homer bet, but I'm taking the Packers to advance out of the NFC and get to the Super Bowl. So I'm making this call right now. It's
We
going to
will
be
be
the
there.
Bills versus the Packers. And if they're there, we'll do a podcast right from the Super Bowl because we will be there. That being said, I don't see them losing this division. I think it's a poor division. I think you look at the Vikings. I'm actually higher on Kirk Cousins than a lot of people
So am I.
are. But the Vikings, what has really hurt them is they have lost a lot defensively. I mean, a lot. And now you've got another turnover with the head coach. I see them being a distant second. They've got good talent. They're going to be a borderline playoff team, but they aren't anywhere close enough to beat the Packers. I like the Packers win total over 11.5. That to me is going to be a homer bet. I call it a lean for everybody else. The other bets I like, I actually like the Lions going over their win total. What do you got it at? 6.5. I got them winning 7 to 8 games. I think they're going to be much improved, but still just okay. The Bears, I think, are one of the worst teams in the NFL. That is not just because I'm not a Chicago Bear fan.
Smile.
It's
They
just
suck.
they're just not good. And I actually feel sorry for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
The poor kid's going to be running for
Set
his
up to
life.
fail.
They have a bottom 5 offensive line. Their defense has hemorrhage players. Why they got rid of some of these defenders that are quality people, and now Roquan Smith wants out. You're in trouble there. I think the Vikings win the games they win because they get to play. They'll go 3-1 against the Bears and the Lions.
Probably.
So those
probably
3
1-1
wins
against the
alone,
Packers,
yeah,
and they
and
always split.
so they're 4-2 potentially within the division. That's why I think they'll sneak out. But that's how I look at it. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have another tremendous year, but that's the only thing that could really derail the Packers, in my humble opinion, is if Rodgers goes down for any length of time. But I think you can say that with just about every top 5 quarterback. Buffalo loses Josh Allen. The Chiefs lose Patrick Mahomes.
They're different teams.
They're different teams as well. So, T, what are you thinking on those?
I think, are the Packers better with Devontae Adams? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All those people that say that, and it's not just football, you see it a lot in the NBA too, when superstars are out, that, are they better without him?
Yeah.
No, they are not.
No.
Straight up, yes. Aaron Rodgers, the Packers without Devontae, 7-0.
Yep.
Rodgers averages 292 passing yards a game. He's 19-1 touchdown to interception with a 119.7 passer rating.
Yep.
They averaged over 31.5 points a game without Devontae.
Yeah. They'll put points on.
They'll be okay without Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
As Rodgers said, those targets, those yards are still going to be there. Somebody's just got to catch the football.
Yep.
I've got this Packer offensive line as, when healthy, the best offensive line in the NFL.
Okay.
When they roll out, if they roll out an offensive line of Bakhtiari at left tackle, I know there's been a lot of talk about Elton Jenkins going to right tackle.
Yeah.
I would love to see Elton Jenkins at left guard. Mainly because if the Packers are going to get to the Super Bowl, they're probably going to have to beat the Rams. And
Yeah. He's
I
gotta
want
match
Elton
up against
Jenkins to be
Donald.
the one blocking Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald don't want to see that.
No, he
No.
doesn't. Because he hasn't. I mean, there's a reason why the Packers have continued to beat the Rams in recent years.
Yeah.
It's because Aaron Donald, for the most part, has
Is
been
nullified.
held in check
Yeah.
by
he's
Elton
nullified.
Jenkins.
Yeah.
At center, Myers had a good, when healthy, he was all right. I'm not worried about that. Runyon at right guard played over 1,000 snaps in
At
his
left guard, yeah.
at
He'd be right
last
guard.
year. He'll
Yeah.
be the right guard. If Elton Jenkins
Yeah.
played played 1,000 snaps. Last year he had 1 penalty and gave up 2 sacks.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal.
And then at right tackle, I would put Josh Nijman
Yeah.
at right tackle if I'm the Packers.
Yep.
He's the one who filled in at left tackle for Bakhtiari, and
Yeah.
I would rather have Elton Jenkins at guard than at tackle. But if Elton Jenkins is your right tackle, you know what? Elton Jenkins is one of the better offensive linemen in the NFL. He can do it. I ain't worried about the O-line.
Yeah. I would
Packers
agree.
defensively, on paper, are special.
Yep.
They've got first-round picks
Every level.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Their defensive line, you can no longer continue to just double Kenny Clark.
Yeah.
Outside linebacker depth is going to be a little bit of an issue if Rashad
question
Gary would get hurt, but I think Rashad Gary is going to have a monster year.
Possible defensive player of the year. You heard it here.
And the
Second.
Packers arguably have the best secondary in football.
Yeah. Now, everybody wants to talk about different corners. Jair Alexander
We've
is
got Rasul Douglas in all pro
Yeah.
or Pro Bowler
Pro
in the
Bowler
slot
in the
now
slot.
because he doesn't have a spot outside.
exactly. I think
But
that's
again,
all
we're
that needs
fans.
to be said. Yeah, we are.
But when it comes to betting, I just want to preface this: us being fans has nothing to do with
it.
plays that
No.
we give out or what we bet.
Exactly.
If we like a play, we
We're
bet it.
going to run with it. You
If we
betcha.
don't like a play, we're not going to bet it.
Yep.
Does it suck some Sundays? Yes, but at the end of the day, cashing a ticket is more important than
Yeah.
us as a fan watching our team win.
Yeah.
That's just the conflict that you have to have as a sports bettor.
Yeah.
If you can't separate your heart from
Yeah,
betting,
from your wallet,
just don't
bet it.
Just
Yeah.
do not just blacklist your favorite teams. Enjoy them as a fan.
Yeah.
All that.
I would agree.
I like the Vikings offensively. I think they can be explosive.
Yeah.
I think they're easily the second best team in the division. At the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is a 500 starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He's got weapons. I like the fact that their new head coach is going to be more offensive minded.
Yep.
I think the Vikings are going to put up a ton of points this year. And I actually, talking about betting heart from favorite team, I have the Minnesota Vikings week 1 at home against the Packers +2. Division home dogs week 1 cover.
Yeah.
They
do.
straight up cover.
They do. It's amazing.
And the Vikings and Packers, historically, they split.
Yeah.
I think it'll take some time because I don't expect Rodgers to play in the preseason. I think it'll take a little time for him to gel with some of
Yeah.
these younger and new wide receivers. Elton Jenkins and Bakhtiari, probably one of them
will play. The other one
Elton
probably
Jenkins, I think will be on the pup list to start.
Yeah.
And he'll miss the first 4 weeks and then he'll be back. Bakhtiari, depending on if he has any more setbacks, hopefully he doesn't,
Yeah.
could potentially be ready to go. They could both be back week 5. If both of them are missing,
That'd be
I like
tough.
Minnesota week 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, again, if
Pains
I
me
lose
to
the
say
bet,
that, but
I have the Vikings plus. I
Could
think
happen.
that the ticket that we've got is +3.
yeah, we got a good
I think
number.
it's 3.
Yeah.
But
See,
we got that.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that early. It
Yeah.
might it might be 2.
That's actually one of my favorite teasers, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. The Bears are still the Bears.
Don't even have
I
to
mean,
talk about them.
Justin Fields.
Feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
They've
I
got
got a
no
lot of
line.
respect.
Their
Yeah.
defense is going to be.
Suspect at best.
Yeah. They're in for a rough year.
Yeah. The only thing they got going for them is they play on such a terrible field that it kind of later on in the
How is
season
it so bad?
it kind of takes away other teams' athleticism and
Yeah.
it muddies the waters a little bit.
The Bears
But,
will be
yeah,
in the
that-
running for the number 1 overall
Yeah.
pick with Will Anderson.
Or they trade it away to a team that wants C.J. Stroud.
And the Lions, I think, can have some moments where they'll be explosive.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I think he's a good middle-of-the-road quarterback. I mean,
Yep.
he did get to a Super Bowl at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
I think I got
but
like number 22 or 23.
They're not going to beat. I've got the Packers winning this division.
Yeah.
I've got the Packers winning this division by a couple games. If they don't win, the Vikings would be the team that would beat them.
Yeah.
The Bears and the Lions are not winning
Yeah.
the division this year.
Yeah. This is a lot like that AFC South where you got 2 teams that can win it. The other 2 teams just aren't going to compete. Not for a title. But I do like the Lions. I think the Lions will win some games. On to the